Hello, today I will read from the book of 2 Chronicles, the chapter 26. Uzziah, king of Judah. Then all people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in place of his father Amaziah. He was the one who rebuilt Elat and restored it to Judah after Amaziah rested with his fathers. Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 52 years. His mother's name was Yekoliah. She was from Jerusalem. It's very important who was the mother, because the mother were teaching the son and the 7 years at home, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father Amaziah had done. He sought God during the days of Zechariah, who instructed him in the fear of God. As long as he sought the Lord, God gave him success. He went to war against the Philistines and broke down the walls of Gath, Yabne, and Ashdod. He there rebuilt towns near Ashdod and elsewhere among the Philistines. God helped him against the Philistines and against the Arabs who lived in Gur Baal and against the Meunites. The Ammonites brought tribute to Uzziah, and his fame spread as far as the border of Egypt because he had become very powerful. Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem and the corner gate, at the valley gate, and at the angle of the wall, and he fortified them. He also built towers in the desert and dug many cisterns, because he had much livestock in the foothills and in the plain. He had people working his fields and vineyards in the hills and in the fertile lands, for he loved the soil. He was like an agriculture man, and he took care of the country. Uzziah had a well-trained army, ready to go out by divisions according to their numbers, as mastered by Yeiel the secretary and Maaseiah the officer, under the direction of Hananiah, one of the royal officials. The total number of family leaders over the fighting men was 2,600. Under their command was an army of 307,500 men trained for war, a powerful force to support the king against his enemies. Uzziah provided shields, spears, helmets, coats of armor, bows, and sling stones for the entire army. In Jerusalem he made machines designed by skillful men for use on the towers and on the corner defenses to shoot arrows and hurl large stones. His fame spread far and wide, for he was greatly helped until he became powerful. But after Uzziah became powerful, his pride led to his downfall. It's very sad, because some people who become great, they go, they get their, they love themselves, and they become egocentric, and it's not okay. His pride led to his downfall. He was unfaithful to the Lord his God, and entered the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. So he thought that he can do everything he wants, uh, because he was the king, and he thought that he's over the temple too. And when where the the place, not the place, but to burn incense, just the high priest, the priest could do, but not a man, a normal man, even if he was the king of the Lord, to burn incense on the altar of incense. Azariah the priest with 80 other courageous priests of the Lord followed him in. They confronted him and said, "It is not right for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord. That is for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, who have been consecrated to burn incense. Leave the sanctuary, for you have been unfaithful, and you will not be honored by the Lord God." Uzziah, who had the censer in his hand ready to burn incense, became angry. While he was raging at the priests in the presence of before the incense altar in the Lord's temple, leprosy broke out on his forehead. When Azariah, the chief priest, and all the other priests looked at him, they saw that he had leprosy on his forehead, so they hurried him out. Indeed, he himself was eager to live because the Lord had afflicted him. So we should be humble and not become pride. His pride led to his downfall. Become egocentric. And King Uzziah had leprosy until the day he died. He lived in a separate house, leprous and excluded from the temple of the Lord. Jotham, his son, had charge of the palace and governed the people of the land. He was like a museum, a man of museum, like King Mihai of the last king of Romania. He was king just in his, I don't know how many years, but not much. It was a sad thing. And governed the people of the land. The other events of Uzziah's reign, from beginning to end, are recorded by the prophet Isaiah, son of Amoz. Uzziah rested with his fathers and was buried near them in a field for burial that belonged to the kings. For people said he had leprosy. I mean, it's like somehow they said he got his punishment in this life. He did a big mistake by going to the temple, but God punished him. And maybe sometimes if we are punished in this life, maybe sometimes some other people will think different to you, even if maybe you were a bad man, a bad person, or an egocentric person, or something like that. And if God punish you, it's like, and they are seeing you, and they will forgive you somehow, and they will say, God punished him. And it's like he had leprosy. So they still, I don't know. And Jotham, his son, succeeded him as king. Even if he was a good person, Uzziah. Instead of that, except that a good person. I'm a king with God and with. No, he made a mistake, but okay, a mistake, but it's not. He made a mistake. He became a mistake somehow. He became so egocentric, and I don't know. So what we can learn from this chapter is we should give up on our self, on our ego, on our pride, and be humble and recognize God in everything we do and respect God. And recognize God as our God. When God is our God, when we recognize that, or we should recognize God as what He is. And when we recognize that, we will not make that mistake by putting our pride before in front of us, like Lucifer did, even if he was in the heaven, and the pride always put you down. Okay, that was the chapter. May the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too. And if you want to see me there too, God bless you all and goodbye.